What's up, Rubits? Little Big Robots back with a video. Please subscribe. Trying to get to 4,000 subscriptions by the end of this summer or something. I don't know. Today I'm looking at this Hexa gear governor. A governor, if you didn't know it, is basically like their foot soldiers. Hexa gear is a system that allows you to, swap parts. It's a modular system, which, if you know me, you know are my favorite types of toys to collect because you can build this different stuff. I'm trying to find a good photo of him here, and I can't. And unfortunately, I have a lot of my Hexa gear vehicles packed away or disassembled right now because I am rearranging the office as I drop everything. But governors are an interesting thing. You get some interesting, with every Hexa gear kit, you're going to get some interesting, like these postcards that are really great art. These actually are really fun collectibles. A lot of people collect these, and it serves as kind of a checklist of the toys as you buy them. You can literally own the checklist like that. You'll have a parts replacement thing like this, which is really interesting. Hexa gear supposedly has pretty good customer service, from what I understand. You can ask them for missing parts and stuff, and they're really good about all that. So a governor is a very detailed 1/24 scale figure. We're not going to jump up here, kitty. Go away. No, kitty. And so this is no different. I'm going to take this backpack off for a moment, though, because otherwise I won't be able to get literally anything done with it. Let's see if I can do this gently. I don't know that I'm going to even be able to do it gently. Let's see here. As you can see, it's massive. But they're not cheap. I got this for only $22 because it was on sale. But typically you can pay $30 to $40. God, this is not going to come off that easy. I'll leave it on. But you get a really, really highly detailed figure. You get a lot of options for painting if you want to paint them. Some of the parts are like the hands sometimes, or like if you see these hands here, they'll be kind of almost made of a rubberized material. They're not quite rubberized, but they still probably will take paint, but not super well. But you can see that you get these really fantastic details, really, really nice movement, posability. They're super posable. Everything's on ball joints. I'm going to take the little sword off here because that red long sword is kind of dorky anyway, but there you go. And this one is no exception. It's like a Queen's Guard, so it's like a knight. The joints will be surprisingly tight on some areas and then surprisingly loose on others. So sometimes you'll get one of these governors and you'll be like, man, that was a really good deal. I got this for $22. 35 and 40, you're like, ooh. But you're getting a really detailed character that you can mess with. One of the problems is that as they've gotten as they've gone along in the line and gotten better, they don't have this problem as much. But one of the problems is that these hands can often be really loose and pop out really simply like that. Now it's meant to do that so you can swap out hands and stuff to grab and to. But I wish they would do a better, tougher solution with their hands. My microcosm cameras drive me crazy. I wish they would have a better solution with their hands where, sure, they're easy to swap out and stuff like that, but they're so easy to fall out that they just need to do, I don't know, they haven't even fixed that yet. Generally, the idea, though, with these guys is you get your good pair of tweezers like this. I always brag about tweezers. You need tweezers, and you use this to kind of pose them. So whenever I put them into a position or a vehicle or something like that, I use these because you kind of have to use these to pose and stuff, because you get your big fat hands in there, you'll just brush that fist and it'll fall out, and it's a bit annoying in that way. This one with this, you can see how big the backpack is. He can't even hold it up without leaning back. He can't stand up without some kind of support from it, which of course it's got enough posability you can use it as a support, but the idea is that it's supposed to check out how just incredibly ridiculously massive this is. The idea is it goes like this, as you can see in the screen, the box art back here. It goes like this. Am I doing that right? I always wonder if I'm doing it right. And then he reaches out with his hand and grabs it, hopefully. Oops. So there's the thingy there. Grabs it. See? It might be easier to place the hand on it first. Like that. Put the hand on it first and then see if I need to pose this a little bit better. I'm thinking that the lance Needs to go back first. See, this is kind of annoying, but once you get it, you know, they're I should say very tedious things. How do I do this damn thing? See, this is why I often skip the big backpacks and silliness, because it's just too much to dork around with. There we go, we're getting closer. But again, you can see how tedious it is messing with these hands. They pop in and out so easy that it's just I hate that stuff. This has got, the shield has got one as well. So the idea is you're going to be able to put the shield in there and you'll be able to hold the shield, blah blah blah. What I did on my other knight type is I ended up just using the shield on its own, like its own, you know, it's got kind of its own brain or something, and just protects him automatically. And then his hands were free, you know, and stuff. I thought that was made a little bit more sense. But as you can see, as you mess with it, it just falls apart. It doesn't mean it's cheap or it's poorly made. It's not. It's actually made really well. Maybe this needs to be mounted down there. Whatever. And in fact, let's take both of these off and look at it without that stuff on it, and see, get a really cool little figure. They're really well made. You get really nice details. You know, I'd say that they're worth actually the cost just to have a really nice figure. But I have a drawer full of these over there, and I'm going to set up a new display with them. And one of the problems is that I'm just dreading it because they just are so tedious at times. And they have these tiny little parts, which are great, don't get me wrong. This is one of my favorite scales of all to work with, because you can fit a lot on a shelf, like a whole little scene, you know, on a shelf or whatever. But I'm going to take a photo of that. Look at that guy there. Yeah. But as you're messing with, you'll get them set up in a cool position. You'll be like, oh, hey, cool, got that. And then his fist you'll just touch it and it'll fall off, and you're like, and you got to reset the whole thing, or these big backpacks. So what I tend to do is take off all the accoutrement, all the extra stuff, you know, and just use them as figures and stuff like that, because they look really cool by themselves. Something like this type of weapon is so massive. It reminds me of that gun cannon I have, the 1/100 gun cannon, no scale. Like the OG gun cannon has this massive cannon, you know. Like, see that? Oh, there you go. It's connecting. I was going to say it's not connect. There we go. It's just so ridiculous, but that's kind of also what's appealing about it. Also, it's really meant to go like that, hold your thing, and then you get a little mount here. Where's the little mount? I think it's this. Or there's a piece you can use a stand to actually hold this up, which is how, you know, ridiculously huge it is. But that's cool if that's what you're into. That it definitely looks cool for that. But I don't quite understand why they made it that large. I've never been an anime giant sword person. I always hated it. I just think they're kind of silly, but it looks cool. Definitely, the shield is really nice. You got some nice details in the shield and the center pieces there. As you can see, I build these really quick, so that's what it's going to look like. With some of your shield, with some of your nub marks showing. If you take your time and are more careful than me, you're not going to have that problem. But so you can see it has, every little bit has a lot of nice little details. You get some extra fists, you get an extra, I forget what that's for, a mount or something, and you come out with a really cool figure. Like I said, this is $22. Would I have bought it for the 40? I don't think so, but it is an interesting type of character. You get this giant lance, and so even if you wanted to have that just to use with other model kits, it's a kind of a neat option. So they're really cool. I love Hexa gear. It's one of my favorite lines, but its tediousness sometimes is a bit. I wish it was a little more sturdy, if that makes sense. I wish it could take a little bit more movement, but that's kind of the price you have to pay for having such a really detailed posable character like that. So not bad, pretty cool. Go check them out. Like I said, they were on sale. I can't remember where they were on sale. I think they were on sale on BBTS for that price. You might go check it out. What I do is I put in the title of what I'm looking for. I Google it and do the shopping tab, and then I just save that shopping tab as a bookmark and refresh it once in a while, and you'll find these guys on sale. So pretty neat. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.